Hey folks, it's Frithgar here, how you doing? So I have come back up to the field and started doing some more silaging. We returned the tank yesterday, decided not to use the army tank any longer, and I spoke to Sen about that, because, you know, I said yesterday that there was someone that she went to school with that got given a tank for their birthday. Now, I thought it was for like their 16th birthday or maybe their 18th birthday or something like that. It turns out it wasn't. He got given it for his 14th birthday. For his 14th birthday, he got given a genuine, real-life, absolutely genuine, real tank. An actual tank for his 14th birthday. 14 years old, ladies and gentlemen, he got given a tank. So, yes, after we had the tank yesterday, our money ended up dropping all the way to minus 2-point-something million dollars. That's great and all, but I didn't really want to have to work back $2 million in order to put things back to normal. So I put the money back how it was. It was about minus 6,000 when we first got the tank. So I put it back to minus 6,000, and I changed the money in the loan as well. I put that back. However, you can still see in the finances there, we went to minus 2 million on there. And that's saying that the total is minus 2 million. However, now our loan is 200,000. And since I've brought the Tatra back up here and been doing my work with it, we've gone another minus $4,000 on the totals here. So the money is still ticking down because of doing the silage and because of what we're leasing. We're leasing the Class Jaguar, aren't we? And because we're leasing that one, it is costing us a bit of money. And then obviously we got our other regular leasing costs anyway. But the Class Jaguar is going to cost us a little bit. But I'm hoping that it will be offset by the huge amount of money that we make when we can sell this silage. So this is all we got left. The other fields have all been planted with oilseed radish, and that's actually grown, but I think we'll come up here and we'll plant it over this field as well, so we don't have to worry about fertilizer, and then we can dash off and do our forestry after we've done the planting here. Right, those two trailers are now full, so if I just put the two covers on, there we go. I'm going to take this, and because we have 100 litres of fuel left, we're going to need some more fuel. So we're going to go via the fuel station on the way back. So it's a bit of a longer way round. My question for this week. I have been doing pigs an awful lot on the time-lapse map and on Sosnovka. So I'm giving the option to opt out completely of doing pigs in Goldcrest Valley on the Let's Play. It's entirely up to you. Do you want me to get pigs, or do you want me to just stick with sheep and cows? I'll get more sheep and more cows, but would you like me to avoid doing pigs? I know we've been doing pigs an awful lot, and a few people started saying in the comments they're getting a bit fed up with pigs, which is fair enough. We've been doing it a lot, so now's your chance. If you don't want to do pigs, then head into the comment section, let everybody know, and of course don't forget to tell us why. It's your vote, it's your game. So now that we're sort of giving you the option to avoid doing pigs on here, there's one other thing that I should address, I think, is I've been getting an awful lot of requests to... we don't want to go too fast. I've only got a single dolly there, a single-wheel dolly, and it does have a tendency to snake a little bit if you go too fast. So yes, I've had a lot of people, I mean a huge number of people, asking if I could please do a third time-lapse episode every week. Start doing it, say, Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday. It would be my 3 time-lapse days. Now, I've considered this, however, the amount of time that it takes to do a time-lapse would mean that I would need to stop doing all of my Let's Plays. So that's really your options there, ladies and gentlemen. I stopped doing the Let's Plays completely, and I do 3 time-lapse series episodes a week, which would be on the same map and so on. And then any extra videos that I do, could do like the occasional... I just want to pull up there. Yeah, I do extra videos every now and then on like new releases and stuff like that. And I would eventually like to do some time-lapse stuff on other games as well. But I kind of I'm reluctant to do that unless I've got absolutely overwhelming support for me to start doing 3 time-lapse episodes a week. It's because it's going to drastically reduce the number of videos that I can produce in a week, and not only that, I quite enjoy doing, I'd say quite enjoy, I love doing the Let's Plays. I love sort of looking into things in a little bit more detail and doing things a little bit differently than I do on the time-lapse. So that is why I can't do an extra time-lapse every week, is because the sheer volume of time that it takes, I don't think it's doable. I would have to stop doing all of the Let's Plays in order to be able to fit them in. And so that's why I've not been doing it. I mean, if I had like thousands upon thousands of requests to stop doing the Let's Plays and do more time-lapse, then, you know, I'd consider it. But I can't really see that happening. Because I know that there's a lot of people that do actually prefer the Let's Plays to the time-lapse. There are some people that don't watch time-lapse at all. So I'm hoping to sort of cater to everybody in the Farming Simulator community. Right. Come out onto the road here. So what we're going to do is we want to... Today's the last day of doing the silage. I was wondering whether I would try and finish all the silage and get the clamp sheeted down today. But what I might do is... We'll do silage today. We'll also consider moving the Challenger up to the top field. I won't do that. I won't move the Challenger today. We're going to concentrate on silage again. So apologies for those of you a bit fed up with silage. Today is the last day. We will do a little bit of this, and we'll do a little bit more of rolling of the clamp, and then between this week and next week, I will finish it all up. If there's any more to bring down from the top, I'll bring that down from the top, and we will finish rolling the clamp, and then I can throw the sheet on. And then we've got to think about how we're going to sell the stuff. Now, we used conveyor belts in Sosnovka, and we have used conveyor belts here. We did a smaller lot of silage last time, and we used the conveyor belts. However, I'm thinking that it would be better if we didn't use the conveyor belts. And in fact, what I think that we should do is that there is a mod now on ModHub that allows you to... It replaces the BGA bin, or it changes it adds like a little script for it, so that it is like what it was in FS15, where so long as there is silage in the bin, you still get money for it. The money keeps going up. It doesn't like count it as separate instances of money every time. What this means is that the money... You don't sort of get a complete sale and then have the amount that you're getting drop. And that's what it tends to do. You get a sale complete and then the amount of money drops. And it keeps doing that. Every time you stick a bucket full in, it keeps doing that. Right, I'm stuck. I'm actually physically stuck. What's going on here? I only added like a little tiny bit of silage. I am absolutely jam solid here. Oh, that's brilliant. I didn't do anything. Yeah, I was supposed to just, back up, and that would be it. And then it would be, not nice and easy. Can I do it like this, maybe? If I turn a little bit, just keep turning. I tell you what, I'll get unstuck and get this lot emptied out, and I will meet you back up the field where we can get a little bit more silage underway. At least I hope we can. Goodness me, this is ridiculous. I made it back up to the field, and we'll just put the one trailer running alongside the forager here. I was just thinking that perhaps we ought to start planting some of our other fields, because the oilseed radish has already come through on most of it. There's a little patch of one of the fields that the oilseed radish hasn't come through yet. So we could start planting some of the fields down there. And I'm just wondering what we should be planting our fields with. Because, I mean, you're getting fed up with silage. I don't blame you. Or at least I'm assuming you're getting fed up with silage. We had our tank that we were doing a bit of rolling the clamp with yesterday, just for an interesting little diversion for a while. But that's the thing, with the big jobs like this, it does sort of start to get a little bit tedious after a while. That's one of the main reasons why I tend to do these sorts of things on time-lapse. Is because, the whole thing gets done that much faster, and you can do it on that much more of an epic scale. So we'll do a little bit more of this, and then once we've got 2 trailers full to head back to the main yard, head back to the biogas plant, we will see about calling in at the main yard to get the Challenger with the Amazon Condor planting on the next lot. Now, we've got the oilseed radish. We haven't applied extra fertilizer with the fertilizer spinner. We're just fertilizer and seed when we planted it with the Amazon, and we do the same again, and plus we cultivate in the oilseed radishes as we plant because it's a direct drill. We shouldn't need to apply any fertilizer at all. It's all done in those 2 passes, which is absolutely fantastic. So I'm just wondering what we should do. We did straw up here. We did a whole load of bales of straw. We did, well, it was mostly small bales of straw, wasn't it? And then what did we do? Oh no, it was the small bales of straw, and then we came straight into this, didn't we? I think we did. I think we then planted it up with the corn, cultivated it all, and then went through and did the corn. So let me just stop a second and take a look in here. If we got anything, we don't have anything in storage at all at the moment. I don't believe we've done sunflowers on this map, but I also don't think we've got anything to harvest sunflowers or corn. I'm considering doing a root crop harvest fairly soon, but I'm not quite sure when. So we just take a look here in our garage, not in the owner, it'd be in the leased items. What headers? We got the case 35-foot header there. We don't have any other header, do we? So we would need to get ourselves a second header. We got all those trailers. We ought to send one of those back, really. We don't need that many. We could keep 2 of them. Right, so we don't have a header, which means I'm fairly sure we haven't done either corn or sunflowers. And we've got all the corn now that we're planting up. Sunflowers, they don't get planted with the Amazon Condor, though, do they? They get planted with the other one, which means we'd have to do the cultivating and the whole malarkey rather than just one lot. And it takes a lot longer to use those machines. So I'm thinking that we won't do sunflowers this time round. I'm going to do sunflowers at some point, but I think we'll avoid doing it this time. So we did barley up here, didn't we? Wheat or barley, I can't remember. We did one of them up here, and then in the other 3 fields we did beans, wasn't it? I think we did beans down there. So either we would sort of do maybe canola across the board, something like that, or we could do wheat. I don't think we've done wheat for quite a while. We could do wheat in everything. We do wheat up here and down the bottom. We'll leave all the straw on the ground, and we'll go through it with the baler, pick it up. We'll use the universal, the auto load trailers. But what I was actually thinking is, if we'll use the baler that we got over there, the square baler, and we won't use the small bale one, we'll do it with big bales. And what a lot of people like me to do is to gather the bales up into groups using, you know, the Artisan. Gather the bales up into groups like that, and then come with the autoloader. So we'll sort of, let me know. Actually, you could talk about that today in the comment section. Let me know what you think. Would you be happy for me to just run up and down the field with the autoloader and not use the Artisan, or would you want me to use the Artisan? If we go and plant wheat, and we do wheat right across the board, how would you like me to do it? Would you want me to pick it up, you know, bale it, and then pick up loads of, just run around with the auto load trailer? Or would you want me to use the Artisan stacker and make stacks in each of the fields, then go to that with the autoloader? Maybe even go and get the Manitou and like park the autoloader in the field, but then bring the bales to the autoloader with the Manitou, something like that. That would be a different way to do it. I did do that when I was doing the time lapse. I did one of the lots of silage bales that I did. I did it like that with the telehandler that we got on there, and we used a bale squeeze to do it. We did it as it was all silage bales, wasn't it? So I have sort of done it like that before. So there's an option that we could do it like that. So I think that we will do wheat on all of our fields. We've got 4 fields at the moment. We'll do wheat right across the board, and once we've planted the wheat, then next week we're getting started on forestry. We've got a few different things that we're going to do with the forestry. We're going to lease a Scorpion, It might not be that we can start it in the first episode next week. We might need to be seeing about selling a load of silage, because, I mean, look at this at the moment. We're at minus 12,500. So if we're selling a load of silage so that we can make the money, we'll earn that back, and then we'll get the money for the Ponzi Scorpion. We've also got to get that placeable as well, haven't we? How much is that one? And there's another thing that we need to get. I said that we were going to get greenhouses. That's something else that we've got to be getting. I've got to get 4 greenhouses. So those are 25,000 each. So that's 100,000 for those. And then we want this one here. This is the one that got the vote. The Gens HE700. That's 72,000. And I don't think you can lease that one. Yeah. You just buy it. That's not a leasable option. So we've got to buy that one at 72,000. That's going to be placed over near the forestry area. And we will make use of that one. I've got some ideas of things that I would like to try while we're doing our forestry. It's like just different ways of processing the logs, and we can sort of take a look at all the different ways that there are. We'll use the auto load trailers. We'll get some of those. We'll get a couple of loads going with the auto load trailers. I think 2 of them actually, because we can stick 2 on the back of this one. So we'll do one run through with 2 of them, and then I've had several people suggest, because they'd like me to use the train. I've had a lot of people say they'd like me to use the train. So we'll bring the train up as far as we can. And I'm actually thinking that we might use the auto-load trailer and see if we can auto-unload right into the train. I think that would be quite an interesting exercise to try. So we'll certainly do that. We'll be doing some wood chipping. Well, actually, I don't think we're going to be doing separate wood chipping. All the wood chipping is just going to be going straight, whatever we put straight into that Gens, the HE700, the placeable. So we won't be doing separate wood chips elsewhere, which that's actually going to make it a little bit easier. So, yeah, we've got a few different things that we want to try. I think it's going to be quite interesting. It's going to be quite good fun. And then, obviously, once the forestry is done, the wheat will be ready to harvest. We can get cracking with that. We'll need to bale up all the straw. And I am going to have a look around and see if there's any interesting mods that we can use while we bale up the straw. Obviously, with the Let's Play, I don't do it quite the same way as I do the time lapse. With the time lapse, I try to just, I buy the machinery and we use it, and we just use it for those tasks. But with the Let's Play, it's a little bit different, because I showcase different mods. I look at different mods, what they're capable of doing, what we can do with these different mods, and like we've got over here, we got loads of balers lined up over there, because I was trying different balers. And yes, it's not very realistic, I grant you. It's completely unrealistic doing it like that. But I feel that it's a better approach, because we do get to look at a whole load of different things. So when it comes to doing the combining, quite possibly, I'm going to turn this one off so he's not constantly draining stuff from me. If I just press H, switch him off a second. There we go. There goes the beeps. It always does the beeps. And if I unhitch that one there, we'll go and get this other trailer on, and then we can run back to the BGA. So yeah, we've got... I'm going to look at several different mods. I've got quite a few different things that I'd like to do once we start doing the forestry next week. I apologise that I haven't used any new mods today. We did use the tank yesterday, but today is not that dissimilar to Monday, and I'm very aware of that, and occasionally it does happen, and I apologise. I hope that I can kind of make it up to you by talking constantly and incessantly. I'm always getting moaned at by people that know me in real life for talking too much, so I'm hoping that actually you guys don't mind me talking a lot, and it's kind of beneficial in this instance. It would certainly make a nice change to not have people complain about me talking too much. So there we go. So yeah, I'm thinking. So we've got the forestry stuff. There's quite a few different things that we can try there, and there's some mods that I'm going to bring in and we're going to take a look at. But a lot of it is just like techniques that I've heard of, I've read of on Reddit, on forums, on so on. Just different ways that people have approached forestry. I'd like to, just try quite a few of them. I think it'd be quite interesting. And then when it comes to harvesting the wheat, we've got our combine. I can't really go getting a different combine every time we want to do a harvest. So maybe not on that, but we could certainly have a look at a couple of mods for maybe overloaders or something like that, because we don't actually have a chaser bin, any kind of overloader at the moment. So I'll take a look at what might be available. We know what we got in the vanilla stuff. I don't think we'll worry about using that. I'll see if there's anything unique and different, and another way of approaching gathering the grain from the combine. And the same goes with the straw. If I can find any mod that deals with straw a little bit differently, perhaps we'll take a look at some of those as well. The advantage of leasing everything on our map is that we can have a look at more stuff than we would otherwise be able to. Right, you've seen me tipping stuff out, so I'm going to go and empty these 2 trailers, and we will then race back over to the main yard so that we can get the Challenger, and we're going to start planting in the corn over there, or in the oilseed radish. We got the oilseed radish over there. We'll start, we'll start getting the wheat planted. Wheat's the word I'm looking for. We can start getting that done. Let me just pull up here a second. Right. Actually, let's race over there now, and then we can come back and see about emptying this in a minute. Right, this one's just parked up down the bottom here. There's a section there on that field that hasn't grown, and there's a tiny little bit there on that field as well, on field 14. So we're going to go over and we're going to start planting field 12. I'll just go through. We got wheat, barley, canola, beans, and oilseed radish and grass. Well, we don't want to plant grass nor oilseed radish, so yes, we will definitely go with wheat. And what I like to do first on this field is if I come down the bottom and we'll open it out. The one good thing about oilseed radish is that with the crop destruction mod, it doesn't destroy the crop when you've got oilseed radish, so it does allow you to run over it and do your planting and everything without having to worry about destroying the crop and losing the benefit of it. So we'll back up here. There we go. And we should be on 2 fertilizations. You know, I haven't actually checked what the ploughing situation is. I've got a feeling that we need to do some ploughing soon. Soil composition, right, field 14 needs ploughing. I'm wondering, I think I might actually not plough it this time. I think I might leave it until next time, but at the moment we've got 1 fertilization stage. However, what we're about to do, because we're about to start planting, it's going to cultivate in to get us the second one, and then we've got the fertilizer on board for the third one. So if I just press H and let it do it itself, there we go. There should be 2 fertilizer stages rolled into one right there. And we press escape, and there you go. You can see on field 12 it's going straight to the very darkest one. So we have got our full 3 stages of fertilizer right there. And let that come on up. That's probably far enough there. So now if I just turn round, and you can turn quite sharp with this. That's one thing I do like about the Condor, the way that it's hitched up, is it's not hitched onto the trailer hitch, it's hitched onto the back of the 3-point linkage right there, which means that you've got a really sharp turn on it. And also, the pivot point isn't on the 3-point linkage. I mean, yes, that doesn't actually look like it's joined on properly there, but it is. It's just the way that the Challenger has got it set up by the look of it. But the pivot point isn't actually there. The pivot point, if you, where the edge of my screen is now, can you see is like a round bar at the bottom on the edge. That round bar there, that's the pivot point of it. And because the pivot point is a fair bit back from the actual join on the tractor, it does mean that you can turn incredibly sharp with this thing without damaging any part of the machinery, which is absolutely fantastic. I think the hay turner that we've got up the top, that does the same thing. So yeah, it is an excellent idea. I've never actually driven a machine in real life that has that kind of pivot on it, I don't think. I have driven an Amazon direct drill before now. It wasn't a Condor, it was a different one. And that did have a pivot point that was similar. It wasn't that far back though. The hitch was on the 3-point linkage, but the pivot point was on the actual bar on the hitch rather than set further back. But I mean, even that was fantastic. The amount that you could turn your machine when you're doing it like that was absolutely brilliant. You had no issues with it whatsoever, and you could turn as sharp as you liked when you were like going around the edges of the fields, which was really quite handy because you would sort of go along the edge of the field, and then when you come to the corner, you couldn't turn sharp with the particular drill I was using. It was always a bit of an issue if you did turn sharp. So what you would instead what you would do is you would... Right, let's... How far up is that going to go? That's as far as I want that one to go. I'll let it back itself up. There we go. Now I'll take over. Yeah, so you would come up to the edge of the field. Actually, I'm going to see if I can do it here. I'll give you a working demonstration of how I used to do this. So that you didn't turn too sharp, but at the same time, you got it in as close as you could to the edges of the field. Now, any actual farmers among us will know exactly what I'm talking about, because they probably do this on a fairly regular basis. So I'm just using the hired help to run a nice, neat line along the top over here. And as soon as we get near the edge of the field, I will see if I can do it manually. So let's just come up a little bit further. And right, let's stop there. Now, if I engage it, right, so I've got it switched on, and what I would do is I would come up like this and get to the edge of the field, and then I start turning, and you can see the actual back of the drill is not turning very much yet. I've gone as tight as I can. Now, it's actually starting to twist slightly, and you could see the coulters on the machine. You would see them starting to pull sideways ever so slightly. So then what you do, then you lift. Okay, and then I turn right round as sharp as I can. I'm right up tight to the edge of the field now. So then I turn as sharp as I can like that, and back up. I mean, it wasn't that often that I would have a very square corner like this. Fields are generally quite odd shapes, and you'd kind of work with your odd shapes as much as you could. So you'd have it backed right into the corner as far as you could, like that. So you're twisting and turning, and then you stop there. And if you've got it right, so we can start here just like that. If you've got it right, the coulters should be far enough back. It's completed the task. No, it hasn't. Goodness me. Go on a little bit further. Now let's try it. Now it's doing it. So yeah, if you'd gotten far enough back, your coulters would then go right back to sort of in line to where you were. If you were turning, if it wasn't like a 90-degree turn, if it was not quite as sharp as that, you would sometimes, and especially if it was a sweeping curve, if you had a tight sweeping curve that was too tight to pull the coulters through, you had to sort of constantly do this. You'd pull forward a bit, and you would, as you turned your tractor, trying to keep the drill straight, let it run through, and then you would lift a bit and back up, and then do the same again, and then lift a bit and back up and do the same again. And yeah, it was a bit of a nuisance, especially when you had to go round the field again, because you do the second time round. And on the second round, that's when you leave some lines of grains out for your tram lines. So what you would do is you'd have a tram line down a straight bit of the field, and when you came up to the corner, you wouldn't leave anything out for tram lines. You would just switch the tram line blocks off, so that if you switched the tramline blocks off, it basically meant you were getting seed. If you turned them on, then you weren't getting seed in where the tractor wheels were going to drive later on. So you'd switch the blocks off to go around the corner. You'd do all the bit on the corner, and then the man on the sprayer, when he came along later on, he would know where to drive, and it would sort of stunt the plants and kill them off. And that was really the best way that you could do it. But anyway, I'm going to leave this one to carry on. We're going to just nip back over to the BGA and get those two trailers emptied out, and then that's all I've got time for, I think. I have actually got more silage here than I was originally thinking. I'm going to be doing quite a bit of work with the tractor over there with the weights and everything. I'll get this done, mostly, and maybe we'll have a little bit left of the compaction and everything. If you would like to see just the last of the clamp being finished off next week, then let me know. I'll have gotten all of the silage down from field 1 before we come to this next week. But if you'd like to see just the last of the clamp being spread out and rolled, then let me know, and I'll save a little bit for then. Otherwise, I'll have it all finished, and all I'll do is I will wait for you to apply the sheet. I'll put the sheet on at the very beginning of next week's episode, and then we can let the silage make, or we might even just have to wait the night so that we can then come back and start selling some of the silage or something like that. I'm not quite sure how we're going to do it yet, but we'll figure something out. But there we go. Right, my question for this week is, several people have said that they are getting a little bit fed up with all the pigs all the time. I've been focusing a lot on pigs, so I decided to give you the option to not have any pigs on this map. So do you want me to have pigs on this map or not? Head into the comments section, let us know what you want, and of course don't forget to actually cast your vote by mousing over in the top right hand corner. It's your vote, it's your game. Now, if you've enjoyed this episode, then could you please head down below and give us a like, and if you really enjoyed it, please tell your friends all about me, get them to come and watch as well. That would be awesome. But until next time, thank you very much for watching. This is Frithgar. Goodbye, and see you later.